All right, how's it going today, guys? Castillo Trading coming to you with another VIP live stream. It is Monday, and as part of our weekly video series on Monday, we like to go over our live streams with you guys. On Wednesday, we like to do the NPOC update video, and then on Friday, we do a quick VIP breakdown segment. But first things first, guys, shout out to the stream sponsors over at CoinCatch. CoinCatch is the perpetual exchange of choice, and then also the guys over at Tealstreet. Tealstreet is what we use to read our level 2, guys. This is probably one of the most useful tools that I use on a daily basis as far as getting a little bit of momentum reader, a little bit of sentiment reader, that sort of thing. This weekend was fucking crazy, guys. I've been doing this private Telegram for a couple years now, and we've been through some heavy downside. It was a bloodbath, but it's not anything that we haven't seen before. People are acting like it was some crazy collapse. We had been looking for a little bit of downside. Now, I will say it happened a lot quicker than I would like, and it also dug a little bit deeper than I would have liked. But at the end of the day, that's just kind of how it is. Let's just kind of get right into some NPOC levels. So according to BTC, we do have some NPOC prints to the upside. Now again, guys, this is good, right? Regardless how low we go, say we dig even down to 57K, we still have NPOC levels to the upside. So for me, that's still an indication that these levels will be retested. Yes, we may go lower first, but we're still getting that short-term directional bias of up. And actually, we did just kind of close this NPOC level here at 64088. This would be an NPOC level that was based off of a long entry, a retest lower, and then we could potentially retest these levels 67422 and 71808. So that is the way that I'm looking to trade kind of NPOC levels for now. As of right now, we can kind of just get rid of 64088. Don't think I'm going to long that. There's a lot of stuff that we can kind of talk about, right? Like this ascending triangle. I think that this kind of faked people out in both directions, where people thought this was going to be the breakout here, fake out, acceptance back in, and then, you know, a lot of people were thinking that this first initial downside was going to be support, even myself included. I had some ads right there. I ended up wicking out a little bit. So we do have to understand just the entire structure that is happening. Just based off basic trend lines, there's a breakdown. You can see that there's a breakdown, and maybe we get a retest and maybe even some more downside from here. So I put out a tweet yesterday kind of talking about what I'm looking for from the markets. I do think that sideways price action is going to happen for the next couple of weeks to potentially a month heading into the halving, but mostly the halving is going to be a non-event. You're not going to see a candle that pumps back to all-time highs. In my opinion, it just doesn't happen. They're normally non-events. They're bullish long-term. All halvings have eventually been bullish, but as far as the day of, I don't think anything significant is going to happen, but you know, we can kind of just go and see how things react. So for me, guys, I'm not really interested in longing anything here. We do want to talk about some NPOC levels lower. We don't have much until this 47K. Now, this is definitely worrisome, right? Because it's almost like the make or break support is going to be the 60 to 58K level, where we had a reaction, and a reaction here. So for me, my last real areas of ads on BTC are probably going to be 58K. If we wick below, then it could be a lot of trouble for us overall. The entire structure will completely change if that 60 to 58K doesn't really hold. But again, I'm not really trying to plan on that, because that's basically me planning on support, not holding. This area is a support level. Regardless, it digs a little bit deeper than what a lot of people would like. You know, a lot of people would probably like BTC to bounce from here all the way up higher, but I still think that it's possible that we run these lows, you know, run the lows of this wick that actually happened, and then all those people that were late to longing, they're going to be underwater. So we probably see a little bit of panic, not to mention all the headlines kind of going on with the war in Iran and Israel. A run of these lows is possible, and that would kind of put us at around that 58K, which I would be very happy if we did get a retest of that 58K. Still having some exposure, but wanting to add more. So I'd be happy to add around that 58 to 60K area on BTC. These NPOC prints higher are just a significant sign to me that we will retest these, whether it's a week from now, a day from now, a month from now. It still just gives me that short-term directional bias or a medium long-term directional bias to the upside to retest these highs. I still think overall I am bullish nonetheless on crypto in general, even through some of this downside. And what's the definition of NPOC? The definition of NPOC is naked point of control. It's volume profile. Again, I have like 2 to 3 videos over on YouTube that you can get over to and kind of learn the terminology that I talk about, how I map them out, the indicator that I use on TradingView to find these levels. Again, it's just a very basic form of volume profiling. Don't really have any long entries, right? This was a long entry at 68060 that kind of gotten invalidated. So I was adding there and then continuing to add lower as we did kind of run these lows. So for now, you know, I'm just going to continue to look for some shorts. And I think that this is a good short area. If we retest these highs, I think that a lot of people will continue to get bullish. One thing that hurt is I took my finger off the short trigger, right? As you guys know, I've been focusing on longing the dips, haven't really been shorting. And this is when you can kind of get caught, you know, and even myself included, right? I wasn't willing to short BTC just because I didn't think it was going to drop this much, but it's also nothing significant, right? It's about a 17% drop. It's not crazy. BTC drops down to 47K, 50K area. That's when not hedging is going to very much sting. But as of right now, it's not the end of the world. So gonna continue to maybe focus a little bit more on shorting, especially if we start to trade in this range, right? If we can just hold this area, let's just say lowest we dig is about that 58K. If we can hold this is a money maker current range to trade. All we need to look to do is to look to short upper limit and look to long lower limit, and you can really make some good profits within this area. But this is going to be our next short entry, and again, we do not have any long entries based off NPOC levels, so we'll just kind of stick with this for now. Okay, so let's get into ETH. So basically NPOC levels on ETH, we did just have a rejection of our NPOC at 3272. So this was the area of interest for me to kind of short into. I didn't, of course. We do have one right here at 3062, so I do expect ETH to dig past down into that level. So this is giving me that short-term directional bias of down on Ethereum, and then we have some NPOC levels lower. We did get a really good bounce at this 2804. This was an NPOC level that we mapped out mid-February. And so I did want to touch on this. Somebody on Twitter asked me, like, you know, you mapped that out, but it got hit 2 months later. That's kind of the name of the game. This continues to stay a long entry regardless if it hits the day after or if it hits 2 months after. That's why I create these game plans based off NPOC levels, and then I have them saved over here on the object tree so that it's a reminder to me once price starts to dig into a specific level, I have a plan to kind of long into that. But yeah, so ETH, same thing as BTC. I think that there's probably a lot of people thinking they caught the bottom longing this, and if we start to kind of wick down into this, people are going to be underwater, so they're going to sell and it might cascade us down to 2500. This is a really good area obviously to be buying Ethereum below 3000. 2500 is an incredible buy on ETH regardless if we continue to go down a little bit lower. I don't really plan on it going this far just because looking at our current range, I think that ETH has potential to have bottomed. I think a lot of people didn't really think ETH was going to drop to below 3000, but yeah, the game plan didn't work out exactly bouncing at those levels, but it did keep me a little bit bearish thinking that we were going to go lower. So that's the mentality going behind, you know, NPOC levels. Depending on where the print happens today, you know, we can go create another short entry or another long entry based off of, you know, the daily close on Ethereum. So I think we all have to kind of get into that mindset of trade the range until it breaks. I think that's going to be key going forward, is we are going to have to now maybe short a little bit more once we get into upper limits and have the ability to kind of do that sort of stuff. So if we do drop down to this level, you know, this is where I would look to be longing Ethereum as well. If you're afraid and you weren't really willing to long ETH below 3000, you think it's going to go lower, I think that these NPOC prints lower do offer a really important area of support. If BTC goes below 60K and does retest that 58K, I think that we can expect Ethereum to go down and dig into these NPOC levels, especially since Ethereum and altcoins are so reactive to what BTC is currently doing that it's hard to ignore that downside could be a little bit more significant than what we see on Bitcoin. But let's go ETH BTC. So yeah, not good. I mean, we did lose some really high term time frame support, but again, it's nothing crazy. We still are at lower limit. I'm still thinking that ETH BTC really can possibly catch, even if we do dig a little bit deeper. I mean, you got to think this could dig all the way to 0.04057. So it could still go lower and it just be, you know, a deviation outside with acceptance back in, because that's what happens a lot of time is you got to account for the deviations. But ETH BTC is still showing to me that it's a good buy area for Ethereum. Regardless if we do go a little bit lower, it still is an area that we should be looking to buy. There just has not been any movement on Ethereum or altcoins compared to how BTC has been moving, but rightfully so. ETF approval and then potential the ETF approval on Ethereum in the future. So we'll just kind of have to see how that looks. Do want to talk about BTC.D really fast. I'm watching this because this is what's going to tell us when the next altcoin bull market is going to actually happen. And this can still go higher. If BTC dominance continues to go higher, it's not good for altcoins and Ethereum. So we do have to keep tabs on both ETH BTC and BTC dominance to see when that shifts. Because if we start to see a reaction at a lower limit, we start to see this starting to drop a little bit more, that's when you can have a little bit more confidence in altcoins. As of right now, altcoins are tough because BTC gets slaughtered, altcoins get slaughtered way worse. So I think that this can go higher. I think that just looking at pure basic technicals, it could go to about that 57.75%. So again, it has more upside. I don't really trade based off of ETH BTC or BTC dominance, but they are important to understand the way that it correlates with how the market is trading. I am long ARB right here. We will see kind of how I want to play this. I did add a couple times, but you know, at the end of the day, altcoins have really been kind of chopping me up. Regardless if this bounces from here or it goes a little bit lower, I still think longing ARB in this area is a decent trade, as I think it pretty much is over 50% from its all-time highs. I still think longing an altcoin that is down 50-60% is going to be good in the future. It may not happen quickly, and a lot of people may get chopped up kind of within this, but you know, we'll just kind of have to see. Yeah, it's a new coin. It seems like to be a new coin. I don't really know the history of it, but I think newer coins are what's best to focus on going forward. Based off of pure technicals, this could obviously go below where it launched from, but I think a very clear and obvious area to be buying is around that 90 cent mark. Can it go lower? Absolutely, everything can go lower, but I think just looking at pure basic technicals, that's where I would look to be longing Athena next. So Filecoin got bonked. Like, holy shit, bonked. But you got to think, just looking at this was a 270% move to the upside. And this is what I'm saying, where, you know, a lot of people will be jumping into Filecoin. I'm sure a lot of people were jumping in here at 8. I'm sure a lot of people were jumping in at 9, 10, thinking it was going to go to 16 and 17. But, you know, here we are sitting back below 6. And again, I still think Filecoin's a good buy. I think that just based off of trend lines, that was a good area to retest basic trend lines. I'm fine on Filecoin regardless of this retrace. But again, I totally see why it sucks, and some people probably got absolutely smacked on it. I thought Sol could potentially be a better buy. This is a very, very technical. Once resistance turned now to support, to where it's resistance, break above, come back down, retest this resistance. And again, it may go a little bit lower, and it may take time. It may take longer than what people want for it to take. A couple months from now, looking at 120 Sol is going to be an incredible buy. I really appreciate you joining the stream. Shout out to everybody that's in the Trade with Castillo VIP Telegram. Also, please do not forget to follow me over on YouTube. I think that there is a need for better people, better chartists over on YouTube. So I'm trying to build that as big as possible. I got a team of editors. Shout out to the editors that are doing a tremendous job with that channel for me. Tremendous job with editing all this stuff for me. They are doing an incredible job. So not only for me, but for you guys to get the content in a little smoother way. But I do appreciate all you joining the stream today, and I'll see you guys over in the Telegram. Peace.